So I'm going to walk you guys through how I would show my students how to do the identification process using iNaturalist. This is a bug I took a picture of this afternoon, and I don't know anything about it yet other than I think it's kind of beetle because I know it, to me it looks like a lightning bug, and I know that those are beetles. So I put it in the beetles order. If you guys want to know how that's done, see the other video that has to do with the initial observation, recording the observation. So now we're at the stage of trying to identify it. This says here on the right side shows my ID, which I think it's a beetle. And I could add it to ID, please, but I try to tell my students not to do that just yet without giving it their own shot. This shows you here, this map will show you where I located it and kind of where similar species were identified. Now this is all types of beetles, which you guys watching probably know is the largest single order in the in class Insecta. So obviously we're going to see lots of beetles around. Let's try to narrow it down. Let's first use this tool called the iDenatron, which is really cool. If you click on this, notice we says the place is the greater Los Angeles area and the taxon is beetles. Okay, so we can go through here and notice it shows here the image of what I'm trying to identify. So if I just hide this, it'll keep my image there. This elderberry borer looks pretty close. Let's keep going though. Let's see what we can find. So far, that's the candidate. So we're getting into lots of ladybugs and whatnot. We're getting seemingly further and further away. Yeah, so let's look at this guy. Seems to be the top candidate so far. Interesting. Okay, let's see what we can find out about. No, it's probably not that, but maybe this exact species. Let's look at the genus. And you can see it's not quite what we were looking at there before. So what I would encourage students to do, then they could open up a guide. Okay? And through the guide, you could type in, for example, beetles. I happen to know here that we have a lovely guide, which is the beetles of Southern California. So let's look through these and see if we can find a match. And not find any. There's a color. Here's the color. But I know that this is not the same look that that one had. Let's go back. These are close. So what I would, this looks potential, but I'm seeing a split here that I just didn't see in our observation. If you want to just check back to observations, you can always jump into observations by you. And I just don't see, and here you can click this to get even a larger image and zoom in your own image. And I don't see that split that I was seeing there. Okay, so I'm going to put red and black beetle California here. Ooh, here we go. This looks close. Old world red bug. Is that? Okay, what is this? Okay, ground dwelling. So we can see this. Okay, red. This is what we saw before. We don't think that that's it. These actually look much closer. Okay, red bugs confirmed in San Diego. Okay, let's go back here. And let's go back to our iDenatron. And instead of beetles, let's look at bugs. Okay, do we have red bugs? Here we go. Okay, well, Well, again, let's hide that. So let's compare those side to side. They look pretty close, but I'm noticing there's a little difference in the pattern. So we might be able to put them in the same genus, but they're not in the same species. Notice the red head here, the black head here. So I would ask my students in that case, let's step back one level, and instead of just going with red bugs, let's just look at the true bugs. Well, this doesn't look good. No, these are looking a little further away. Scroll down. Let's do this trick here. And ooh, here we go. This looks close. Wait a minute. Let's take a look here. Yeah, looks like similar markings. Let's check out this large milkweed bugs page. And here's an image of it. That looks pretty, with the red head, it almost looks exactly what we have found. And then we can look and see somebody else found this. That looks pretty close. Where did they find it? You can zoom out and see they found it in Texas. Okay. Let's see if we put that into our observation, if that's going to place it also in California. And it is located in the greater LA area. We're seeing that this large milkweed bug is around here. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back to observations by me. And we're going to edit. Actually, better way to do is kind of track what you're doing, or just add an identification. And we're going to call it the large milkweed bug. Okay, and then we're going to save the identification. And what this shows then is that we have, changes this to the large milkweed bug, shows the distribution of these a lot less than the beetles, right? And we do see them around the United States, okay? But not clearly not as much as the beetles. And this will show you that my previous identification has been crossed out, and we have a new species identification of large milkweed bug. At that point, what I would ask the students to do, then you can add it to ID Please. And once it's on ID Please, it becomes part of a searchable database, and we can see clicking on observations for ID Please, and this will allow people around the world to see observations that people want identifications for. So hopefully someone will see mine and either agree with that or disagree with that and point me in the right direction. But I think in this case, we found a pretty good match. In the event that a student couldn't find such a good match, I would probably just recommend you err on the side of safety, find a similar looking species, and maybe step back a taxonomic level. So if you could, if you're not sure of the species, but you're sure the genus, that'd be a good sense, and so on. If you can't narrow down a genus, but you think you're in the family, go for it there. Okay? And that's pretty much what I would show them in terms of the identification.